Miss Julie's crazy again tonight. Absolutely crazy.
So you finally came back.
I took the count to the station, and when I returned past the barn, I stopped in for a dance. Who do I see but Miss Julie leading off a dance with the gamekeeper? Oh, but as soon as she saw me, she rushed over to ask me for the next waltz. And she's been waltzing ever since. I've never seen anything like it. She's crazy.
She always has been. But never as bad as the last 2 weeks since her engagement was broken off.
Yes, I wonder what the real story was there. He was a gentleman, even if he wasn't rich. These people have such romantic ideas. Still, it's strange, isn't it? I mean, that she'd rather stay home with the servants on Midsummer Eve instead of going with her father to visit relatives.
She's probably embarrassed after that last row with her fiancé.
Probably. He gave a good account of himself, though. Do you know how it happened, Christine? I saw it, you know, though I didn't let on that I had.
Now you saw it.
Yes, I did. That evening when they were out near the stable, she was training him, as she called it. Do you know what she did? She made him jump over her riding crop the way you teach a dog to jump. And he jumped twice, and she hit him each time. But the third time, he grabbed the crop out of her hands, hit her with it across the cheek, broke it in pieces, and then he left.
Oh, so that's what happened. I can't believe.
Yes, that's the way it went. So what do you have for me that's tasty, Christine?
Oh, it's just a piece of kidney I cut from the veal roast.
Beautiful. That's my favorite delice. But you could have warmed the plate.
You are fussier than the Count himself once you start.
Stop it. Leave my hair alone. You know I'm touchy about that.
Now, it's only love. You know that.
Beer on Midsummer Eve? No, thank you. I can do better than that. See that? Yellow seal. Give me a glass. A wine glass? I'm drinking this purr.
God help the woman who gets you for a husband. What a fuss budget.
Nonsense. You'd be damn lucky to get a man like me. It certainly hasn't done you any harm to have people call me your sweetheart. Very good. Just needs a little warming. We bought this in Dijon. 4 francs a liter, not counting the cost of the bottle or the customs duty. What are you cooking now? It stinks like hell.
Some slop Miss Julie wants to give her dog Diana.
Watch your language, Christine. Still, why should you have to cook for that damn mutt on Midsummer Eve? Is she sick?
Yes, she's sick. She snuck out with the gamekeeper's dog, and now there's hell to pay. Miss Julie won't have it.
Miss Julie has too much pride about some things and not enough about others. Just like her mother was. The Countess was most at home in the kitchen and the cowshed, but a one-horse carriage wasn't elegant enough for her. The cuffs of her blouse were always dirty, but she had to have her coat of arms on her cufflinks. And Miss Julie won't take proper care of herself either. If you ask me, she just isn't refined. Just now, when she was dancing in the barn, she pulled the gamekeeper away from Anna and made him dance with her. We wouldn't behave like that. But that's what happens when aristocrats pretend that they're common people. They get common. But she is quite a woman. Magnificent. What shoulders, what etc.
Don't overdo it. I have heard what Clara says, and she dresses her.
Ah, Clara, you're all jealous of each other. I've been out riding with her. The way she dances.
Listen, Jean, you're gonna come dance with me when I'm finished here, aren't you?
Of course I will.
You promise?
Promise? When I say I'll do something, I do it. By the way, the kidney was very good.
I'll be right back. You go ahead for now. Well, is it ready?
Are you ladies up to something secret?
None of your business.
I like the smell of violets.
Shame on you. So, you know about perfumes too. You certainly know how to dance. No peeking, go away.
Are you brewing up a magic potion for Midsummer Eve? Something to prophecy by under a lucky star, so you'll catch a glimpse of your future husband?
You'd need sharp eyes to see him. Pour out half a bottle and cork it well when it's cooled. Come and dance a schottisch with me, Jean.
I don't want to be impolite to anyone, and I've already promised this dance to Christine.
Oh, she can have another one, can't you, Christine? Won't you let me, Jean?
It's not up to me, ma'am. If the mistress is so generous, it wouldn't do for you to say no. Go on, Jean, and thank her for the honor.
To be honest, and no offense intended, I wonder whether it's wise for you to dance twice running with the same partner, especially since these people are quick to jump to conclusions.
What's that? What sort of conclusions? What do you mean?
If you don't understand, ma'am, I must speak more plainly. It isn't good to play favorites with your servants.
Play favorites? What an idea. I'm astonished. As mistress of the house, I honor your dance with my presence. And when I dance, I want to dance with someone who can lead, so I won't look ridiculous.
As you order, ma'am, I'm at your service.
Don't take it as an order. On a night like this, we're all just ordinary people having fun. So we'll forget about rank. Now, take my arm. Don't worry, Christine. I won't steal your sweetheart.
God, she really is crazy. What a way to dance. Everyone's laughing at her behind her back. What do you make of it, Christine?
It's that time of the month with her, and she always acts peculiar like that. Listen, Jean, are you gonna come dance with me now?
You're not mad at me, are you, for leaving?
Of course not. For a little thing like that. Besides, I know my place.
You're a sensible girl, Christine. You'd make a good wife.
What a charming escort. Running away from his partner.
On the contrary, Miss Julie, don't you see how I rushed back to the partner I abandoned?
You know, you're a superb dancer. But why are you wearing a livery on a holiday? Take it off at once.
Then I'll have to ask you to go outside for a moment. You see, my coat is hanging over here.
Are you embarrassed about changing in front of me? Well, go in your room then. Either that or stay and I'll turn my back.
With your permission, ma'am.
Tell me, Christine, you two are so close. Is Jean your fiancé?
My fiancé? Yes, we can call him that if you wish.
What do you mean?
Well, you had a fiancé yourself once, didn't you?
Yes, but we were properly engaged.
But nothing ever came of that, did it?
Très gentil, Monsieur Jean. Très gentil.
Vous voulez plaisanter, madame?
Et vous voulez parler français? Where did you learn that?
In Switzerland, when I was a wine steward for one of the biggest hotels in Lucerne.
And you look like quite a gentleman in that.
Oh, you're flattering me.
Flattering you.
My natural modesty forbids me to believe that you would really compliment someone like me. And so I took the liberty of assuming that you were exaggerating, which polite people call flattering.
Where did you learn to talk like that? You must have been to the theater often.
Of course, and I've done a lot of traveling.
But you come from here, don't you?
My father was a farmhand on the district attorney's estate nearby. I used to see you when you were little, but you never noticed me.
No, really?
Oh, sure. I remember one time especially what... But I can't talk about that.
Oh, come now. Why not? Just this once?
No, I really couldn't. Not now. Some other time, perhaps.
Why some other time? What's so dangerous about now?
It isn't dangerous, but there are obstacles. Her, for example.
What a pleasant wife she'll make. She probably snores, too.
No, she doesn't. But she talks in her sleep.
How do you know?
I've heard her.
Why don't you sit down?
I couldn't do that in your presence.
But if I order you to?
Then I'd obey.
Sit down, then. No, wait. Can you get me something to drink first?
I don't know what we have in the icebox. I think there's only beer.
Why do you say only? My tastes are so simple. I prefer beer to wine.
Here you are, ma'am.
Thank you. Won't you have something yourself?
I'm not partial to beer, but if it's an order.
An order? Surely a gentleman can keep his lady company.
Yes, you're right. Of course.
Now, drink to my health. What? A man of the world and shy.
Skull to my mistress.
Bravo.
Now, kiss my shoe to finish it properly. You should have been an actor.
That's enough now, Miss Julie. Someone might come in and see us.
What are they?
Well, people talk, that's what. If you could have heard how their tongues were wagging just now at the dance, you'd be...
What were they saying? Tell me. Sit down.
I don't want to hurt you, but they were saying things, suggestive things that... Well, you can figure it out for yourself. You're not a child. If a woman is seen drinking alone with a man, let alone a servant at night, then...
Then what? Besides, we're not alone. Christine.
Asleep.
Then I'll wake her up. Christine, are you asleep? Christine. She certainly can't sleep.
The Count of McDonough.
Will you wake up?
Leave her alone. Let her sleep. Someone who's been standing over a stove all day has a right to be tired now. Sleep should be respected.
What a considerate thought. It does you credit, thank you. Come outside and pick some lilacs for me.
Go with you?
With me.
I couldn't do that, absolutely not.
I don't understand. Surely you don't imagine.
No, I don't, but the others might.
What? That I've fallen in love with a servant?
I'm not a conceited man, but such things happen. And for these people, nothing is sacred.
I do believe you're an aristocrat.
Yes, I am.
And I'm stepping down.
Oh, don't step down, Miss Julie. Take my advice. No one will believe you stepped down voluntarily. People will always say you fell.
I have a higher opinion of people than you. Come and see. Come!
You're very strange. Did you know that?
Perhaps, but so are you. For that matter, everything is strange. Life, people, everything. Like floating scum. Drifting on and on across the water until it sinks. Down and down. That reminds me of a dream I have now and then. I've climbed up on top of a pillar. I sit there and see no way of getting down. I get dizzy when I look down, and I must get down. But I don't have the courage to jump. I can't hold on firmly, and I long to be able to fall. But I don't fall. And yet, I'll have no peace until I get down. No rest unless I get down. Down in the ground. And if I did get down in the ground, I'd want to be under the earth. Have you ever felt anything like that?
No. I dream that I'm lying under a high tree in a dark forest. And I want to get up on the top and look out over the bright landscape where the sun is shining, and plunder the bird's nest up there where the golden eggs lie. And I climb and climb, but the trunk is so thick and smooth and it's so far to that first branch. Just reach that first branch and go right to the top like up a ladder. I haven't reached it yet, but I will, even if it's only in a dream.
Here I am chattering with you about dreams. Come, let's go out. Just into the park.
We'll have to sleep on 9 midsummer flowers, Miss Julie, to make our dreams come true. Oh.
Did you get something in your
It's
eye?
nothing, just a speck. It'll be gone in a minute.
My sleeve must have brushed against you. Here, sit down and let me help you. Now sit still, absolutely still. Didn't you hear me? Why? You're trembling. The big, strong man is trembling. What muscles you have.
Miss Julie!
Yes, Monsieur Jean.
Attention, je ne suis qu'un homme.
Will you sit still? There. Now it's gone. Kiss my hand and thank me.
Miss Julie, will you listen to me? Christina's gone to bed. Listen to me.
Kiss my hand first.
Listen to me.
Kiss my hand first.
All right. But you've only yourself to blame.
For what?
For what? Are you still a child at 25? Don't you know that it's dangerous to play with fire?
Not for me. I'm insured.
No, you're not. But even if you were, there's combustible material close by.
Meaning you?
Yes. Not because it's me, but because I'm young.
And handsome. What incredible conceit. A Don Juan, perhaps. Or a Joseph. Yes, that's it. I do believe you're a Joseph.
Do you?
I'm almost afraid so.
How dare you! Are you serious or joking?
Serious!
Then so is what just happened. You play games too seriously, and that's dangerous. Well, I'm tired of games. You'll excuse me if I get back to work. I haven't finished the Count's boots yet, and it's long past midnight.
Put the boots down.
No, it's the work I have to do. I never agreed to be your playmate and never will. It's beneath me.
You're proud.
In certain ways, but not in others.
Have you ever been in love?
We don't use that word. But I've been fond of many girls. And once I was sick because I couldn't have the one I wanted. That's right, sick like those princes in the Arabian Nights who can't eat or drink because of love.
Who was she? Who was she?
You can't force me to tell you that.
But if I asked you as an equal, as a friend, who was she?
You.
How amusing.
Yes, if you like, it was ridiculous. You see, that was the story I didn't want to tell you earlier. Maybe I will now. Do you know how the world looks from down below? No, of course you don't. Neither do hawks and falcons, whose backs we can't see because they're usually soaring up there above us. I grew up with 7 brothers and sisters and a pig in the middle of a wasteland where there wasn't a single tree. But from our window, I could see the tops of apple trees above the wall of your father's garden. That was the Garden of Eden, guarded by angry angels with flaming swords. All the same, the other boys and I managed to find our way to the tree of life. And now you think I'm contemptible, I suppose.
Oh, all boys steal apples.
You say that, but you think I'm contemptible anyway. Oh, well. One day I went into the Garden of Eden with my mother to weed the onion beds. Near the vegetable garden was a small Turkish pavilion in the shadow of jasmine bushes, overgrown with honeysuckle. I had no idea what it was used for, but I had never seen such a beautiful building. People went in and came out again. And one day the door was left open. I sneaked close and saw the walls covered with pictures of kings and emperors and red curtains with fringes. And now you know the place I mean. I had never been inside the manor house, had never seen anything except the church. But this was more beautiful. From then on, no matter where my thoughts wandered, they always returned there. Gradually, I got a longing to experience just once the full pleasure of enfant. I sneaked in, saw and marveled. But then I heard someone coming. There was only one exit for ladies and gentlemen, but for me there was another, and I had no choice but to take it.
Ew!
Afterwards, I started running. I crashed through a raspberry bush, flew over the strawberry patch, and came onto the rose terrace. There I caught sight of a pink dress and a pair of white stockings. It was you. I crawled under a pile of weeds, and I mean under thistles that pricked me and wet dirt that stank. And I looked at you as you walked among the roses, and I thought, if it's true that a thief can enter heaven and be with the angels, then why can't a farmhand's son here on God's earth enter the manor house garden and play with the Count's daughter?
Do you think all poor children would have felt the way you did?
If all poor children... Yes, of course, of course!
It must be terrible to be poor.
Oh, Miss Julie, a dog can lie on the Countess's sofa. A horse can have his nose patted by a young lady's hand. But a servant? Oh, I know every now and then you find one with enough stuff in him to get ahead in this world. But how often? Anyhow, do you know what I did then? I jumped in the mill stream with my clothes on, got pulled out and got a beating. But the following Sunday, when my father and all the others went to my grandmother's house, I arranged to stay home. I scrubbed myself with soap and water, put on my best clothes, and went to church just to see you. I saw you and returned home determined to die. I wanted to die beautifully, pleasantly, without pain. And then I remembered it was dangerous to sleep under an elder bush. We had a big one and it was in full flower. I plundered its treasures and bedded down under them in the oat bin. Have you ever noticed how smooth oats are? And soft to touch, like human skin? Well, I shut the lid and closed my eyes. I fell asleep and woke up feeling very sick, but I didn't die, as you can see. What was I after? I don't know. I had no chance of winning you, of course. You were a symbol of the hopelessness of ever rising out of the class in which I was born.
You're a charming storyteller. Have you ever been to school?
A bit, and I've read lots of novels and been to the theater often. And then I've listened to people like you talk. That's where I learned most.
Do you listen to what we say?
Naturally, and I've heard plenty too. Driving the carriage or rowing the boat. Once I heard you and a friend
Oh, what did you hear?
I'd better not say, but I was a little surprised. I couldn't imagine where you had learned such words. Maybe at bottom there isn't such a great difference between people as we think.
Shame on you. We don't act like you when we're engaged.
Is that true? You don't have to play innocent.
The man I gave my love to was a swan.
That's what they all say afterwards.
Oh.
I believe so. I've heard that phrase on similar occasions.
What occasion?
Like the one I'm talking about, the last time.
Quiet! I don't want to hear anymore.
That's interesting. That's what she said. Well, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to bed.
To bed on Midsummer Eve.
Yes, dancing with the rabble out there doesn't amuse me much.
Get the key to the boat and row me out into the lake. I want to see the sun come up.
Is that wise?
Are you worried about your reputation?
Why not? Why risk looking ridiculous and getting fired without a recommendation just when I'm trying to establish myself? Besides, I think I owe something to Christine.
So, now it's Christine.
Yes, but you too. Take my advice. Go up and go to bed.
Am I to obey you?
Yes, please, just this once. It's very late and drowsiness makes people giddy and liable to lose their heads. Go to bed.
John, are you in there?
Besides, unless I'm mistaken, I hear the others coming to look for me. And if they find us together, you'll be lost.
I know these people, and I love them, just as they love me. Let them come and you'll see.
No, Miss Julie, they don't love you. They take your food and spin on it, believe me. Listen to them. Listen to what they're singing. No, don't listen to them.
What are they singing?
It's a dirty song about you and me.
Disgusting. How deceitful.
The rabble is always cowardly, but in a battle like this, you don't fight. You can only run away.
Run away? But where? We can't go out. Or into Christine's room.
That's true, but there's my room. Necessity knows no rules. Besides, you can trust me. I'm your friend, and I respect you.
But suppose they look for you in
Then
there.
I'll bolt the door, and if anyone tries to break in, I'll shoot. Come! Come!
Promise
I
me.
swear!
John, it's me.
Sophie, what are you doing here?
Sven, you startled me.
Visiting, perhaps, at this late hour.
Ridiculous. Christine is asleep by now.
Christine's room is up there.
Are you jealous?
Me? Jealous of that house
Besides,
servant.
I came in here for you.
Me? How's that?
Well, I know where they keep it.
What are you talking about?
Beer. City beer?
Sophie, you are a thoughtful woman.
Drinking the Count's beer. Is that courage or foolishness?
I think you can spare me this. One city beer is little enough reward for years of sweat.
a gentleman, but can you dance like one?
Oh, I believe my lady has been a little bit forward this evening. Strike up a tune, Michel. I always give a lady whatever she asks for.
But, Sven, you promised me a dance. Now wait your turn.
Ladies, it is Midsummer's Eve. No fight time, please. I will do my best to amuse you both until Monsieur Michel has his hands free. A tune, sir. The ladies wish to prance.
A lady's wish is my command and my pleasure. So the swineherd and the princess, they danced the whole night through, and he forgot his first love, to her he was untrue. And when the long night ended, and in the light of day, the dancing too was ended, and the princess could not stay. So the swineherd lost his true love, and the princess grieves him still, but never more she'll wander from atop the golden hill.
Oh,
There, you see, and you heard them. We can't possibly stay here now, you know that.
Yes, I know. What can we do?
Leave, travel, far away from here.
Travel? Yes, but where?
To Switzerland, to the Italian lakes. Have you ever been there?
No. Was it beautiful?
Oh, an eternal summer. Oranges growing everywhere. Laurel trees always green.
What do we do there?
I'll open a hotel with first-class service for first-class people.
Hotel?
That's the life, you know. Always new faces, new languages. No time to worry or be nervous. No hunting for something to do. There's always work to be done. Bells ringing night and day. Train whistles blowing. Carriages coming and going. And all the while, gold rolling into the till. That's the life.
Yes, it sounds wonderful. But what'll I do?
You'll be mistress of the house, the jewel in our crown. With your looks and your manners, success is guaranteed. It'll be wonderful. You'll sit in your office like a queen. Push an electric button to set your slaves in motion. The guests will file past your throne and timidly lay their treasures before you. You have no idea how people tremble when they get their bill. I'll salt their bills and you'll sweeten them with your prettiest smile. Let's get away from here. Right away, on the next train. We'll be in Malmo at 6:30 tomorrow morning, Hamburg at 8:40. Frankfurt to Basel will take a day, and then on to Como by way of the St. Gothard Tunnel in, let's see, 3 days, 3 days.
That's all very well. But Jean, you must give me courage. Tell me you love me. Put your arms around me.
I want to, but I don't dare. Not in this house, not again. I love you. Never doubt that. You don't doubt it, do you, Miss Julie?
Miss, call me Julie. There are no barriers between us now. Call me Julie.
I can't. There will always be barriers between us as long as we stay in this house. There's the past and there's the Count. I have never met anyone I had more respect for. When I see his gloves lying on a chair, I feel small. When I hear that bell up there ring, I jump like a skittish horse. And when I look at his boots standing there so stiff and proud, I feel like bowing. Superstitions and prejudices we learned as children, but they can easily be forgotten. If I can just get to another country, a republic, people will bow and scrape when they see my livery, you hear? They'll bow and scrape, not me. I wasn't born to cringe. I've got stuff in me. I've got character. And if I can just grab onto that first branch you watch me climb. I'm a servant today, but next year I'll own my own hotel. In 10 years, I'll have enough to retire. I could. Mind you, I could end up a count myself.
Wonderful.
In Romania, you can just buy your title. And so you'll be countess after all. My countess.
But I don't care about that. That's what I'm trying to put behind me. Show me you love me. Otherwise, what am I?
I'll show you 1,000 times. Afterwards, not here. And whatever you do, no emotional outbursts or we'll both be lost. We must think this through coolly, like sensible people. You sit there and I'll sit here and we'll talk as if nothing happened.
Oh my God! Have you no feelings?
Me? No one has more feelings than I do, but I know how to control them.
A little while ago you could kiss my shoe, and now...
Yes, but that was before. Now we have other things to think about.
Don't speak harshly to me.
I'm not just sensibly. We've already done one foolish thing. Let's not have any more. The Count could return any minute, and by then we have to decide what to do with the rest of our lives. What do you think of my plans for the future? Do you approve?
They sound reasonable enough. I've only one question. For such a big undertaking, you need capital. Do you have it?
Me? Certainly. I have my professional expertise, my wide experience, and my knowledge of languages. That's capital enough, I should think.
But all that won't even buy a train ticket.
That's true. That's why I'm looking for a partner to advance me the money.
Where will you find one quickly enough?
That's up to you if you want to come with me.
But I can't. I have no money of my own.
Then it's all off.
And?
Things stay as they are.
Do you think I'm going to stay in this house as your lover? With all the servants pointing their fingers at me? Can you imagine I could face my father after this? No. Take me away from here. Away from shame and dishonor. What have I done? Oh my God! My God!
Don't stop that old song. What have you done? The same as many others before you.
And now you think I'm contemptible. I'm falling. I'm falling.
Then fall down to my level and I'll lift you up again.
Oh, what terrible power drew me to you. The attraction of the weak to the strong, the falling to the rising. Or was it love? Was this love? Do you know what love is?
Me? What do you take me for? You don't think this was my first time, do you?
The things you say, the thoughts you
That's
think!
the way I was taught and that's the way I am. Now don't get excited and don't play the grand lady because we're in the same boat now. Come on, Julie. Let me pour you a glass of something special.
Where did you get that wine?
From the cellar.
My father's Burgundy!
That'll do for his son-in-law, won't it?
And I drink beer. Beer!
That only shows I have better taste.
Thief!
Planning to tell.
Oh. An accomplice of a common thief. Was I drunk? Have I been walking in a dream this whole evening? Midsummer Eve, a time of innocent fun.
Innocent, eh?
Is there anyone on earth more miserable than I am at this moment?
Why should you be after such a conquest? Think of Christine in there. Don't you think she has feelings too?
I thought so a while ago, but not anymore. No, a servant is a servant.
And a whore is a whore.
Oh, God in heaven! End my wretched life! Take
can't deny I feel sorry for you. When I lay in that onion bed and saw you among the roses, well, I'll be frank. I had the same dirty thoughts all boys have.
You wanted to die for me.
In the oat bin, that was just talk.
A lie, in other words.
More or less. I got the idea from a newspaper story about a chimney sweep who curled up in a firewood bin full of lilacs because he got a summons for not supporting his illegitimate child.
So, that's what you're like.
I had to think of something, and that's the kind of story women usually go for.
Swine!
Oh, man!
And now you've seen the hawk's back!
Not exactly, it's back.
And I was to be the first branch.
But the branch was rotten.
I was to be the sign of your hotel.
And I the hotel.
Sit at your desk. Entice your customers. Pad their bills.
That I'd do myself.
How can anyone be so thoroughly filthy?
Better clean up then.
You lackey, you menial. Stand up when I speak to you.
Menials, whore, lackeys, harlot. Shut up and get out of here! Who are you to lecture me on coarseness? None of my kind is ever as coarse as you were tonight. Do you think one of your maids would have thrown herself at a man the way you did? Have you ever seen any girl of my class offer herself like that? I've only seen it among animals and streetwalkers.
You're right. Hit me. Trample on me. I don't deserve any better. I'm worthless. But help me. If you see any way out of this, help me, please, Sean.
I'd be lying if I didn't admit to a sort of triumph in all this. Do you think a person like me would have even dared look at someone like you if you hadn't invited it? I'm still amazed.
I'm proud.
Why not? Though I must say it was too easy to really be excited.
Go on. Hit me.
No.
Hit me harder.
Forgive me for what I've said. I don't hit a man when he's down, let alone a woman. Can't deny, though, that I'm pleased to find out that what looked so dazzling to us from below was only tinsel. That the hawk's back was gray after all. That the lovely complexion was only powder. That the polished fingernails had black edges. And that a dirty handkerchief is still dirty, even if it smells like perfume. On the other hand, it hurts me to find out that what I was striving for wasn't finer, more substantial. It hurts me to see you sunk so low that you're inferior to your own cook. It hurts like watching flowers beaten down by autumn rains and turned into mud.
You talk as if you are already above me.
I am. You see, I could make you a countess, but you could never make me a count.
But I'm the child of a count. Something you could never be.
That's true, but I could be the father of counts.
You're a thief. I'm not.
There are worse things than being a thief. Besides, when I'm working in a house, I consider myself sort of a member of the family, like one of the children. And you don't call it stealing when a child snatches a berry from a full bush. Oh, Miss Julie, you're a glorious woman, much too good for someone like me. You were drinking and lost your head. Now you're trying to cover up your mistake by telling yourself you love me. You don't. Maybe there was some physical attraction, but then your love is no better than mine. I could never be satisfied to be no more than an animal to you. I could never arouse real love in you.
Are you sure of that?
You're suggesting that it's possible. Oh, I could love you, no doubt about it. You're beautiful, you're refined, cultured, lovable when you want to be. And once you start a fire in a man, it never goes out. You're like hot, spicy wine, and one kiss from...
Oh, let me go! You'll never win me like that!
How then? Not like that? Not with caresses and pretty speeches? Not with plans about the future or rescue from disgrace? How then?
How? How? I don't know. I have no idea. I detest you as I detest rats. But I can't escape from you.
Me.
Escape? Yes, we must escape. But I'm so tired. Give me a glass of wine. But we must talk first. We still have a little time.
Don't drink so fast. It'll go to your head.
Oh, what does it matter?
What does it matter? It's vulgar to get drunk. Now, what did you want to tell me?
That we must escape, but we must talk first. I mean, I must talk. You've done all the talking up to now. You've told me about your life. Now I want to tell you about mine. So we'll know all about each other before we go off together.
Just a minute. Forgive me. If you don't want to regret it afterwards, you'd better think twice before revealing any secrets about yourself.
Aren't you my friend?
Yes, sometimes, but don't rely on me.
You're only saying that. Besides, everybody already knows my secrets. You see, my mother was a commoner, very humble background. She was brought up believing in social equality, women's rights, and all that. The idea of marriage repelled her. So, when my father proposed, she replied that she would never become his wife, but that he could be her lover. He insisted that he didn't want the woman he loved to be less respected than he. But his passion ruled him. And when she explained the world's respect meant nothing to her, he accepted her conditions. But now his friends avoided him, and his life was restricted to taking care of the estate, which couldn't satisfy him. I came into the world against my mother's wishes, as far as I can understand. She wanted to bring me up as a child of nature, and what's more, to learn everything a boy had to learn, so that I might be an example of how a woman can be as good as a man. I had to wear boys' clothes and learn how to take care of the horses, but I was never allowed in the cowshed. I had to groom and harness the horses and go hunting and even watch them slaughter animals. That was disgusting. On the estate, men were put on women's jobs, and women on men's jobs, and we became the laughing stock of the district. Finally, my father rebelled and changed everything his way. My parents were then married quietly. Mother became ill. I don't know what illness it was, but she often had convulsions, hid in the attic and in the garden, and sometimes stayed out all night. Then came the Great Fire, which you've heard about. The house, the stables, the cowshed all burned down under very curious circumstances, suggesting arson, because the accident happened the day after the insurance had expired. The quarterly premium my father sent in was delayed because of the messenger's carelessness and didn't arrive on time.
Don't drink anymore.
Oh, what does it matter? We were left penniless and had to sleep in the carriages. Father had no idea where to find the money to rebuild the house because he had so slighted his old friends that they had forgotten him. Then my mother suggested that he borrow from a childhood friend of hers, a brick manufacturer who lived nearby. Father got the loan without having to pay interest, which surprised him. And so, that's how the estate was rebuilt. Do you know who started the fire?
The Countess, your mother.
Do you know who the brick manufacturer was?
Your mother's lover.
Do you know whose money it was?
Oh, wait a minute. No, I don't.
It was my mother's.
You mean the Count's? Unless they didn't sign an agreement when they were married.
They didn't. My mother had a small inheritance, which she didn't want under my father's control. So she entrusted it to her friend.
Who stole it?
Exactly. He kept it. All this my father found out, but he couldn't bring it to court. Couldn't repay his wife's lover. Couldn't prove it was his wife's money. It was my mother's revenge for being forced into a marriage against her will. It nearly drove him to suicide. There was a rumor that he tried it with a pistol, but failed. So, he managed to live through it. And my mother had to suffer for what she'd done. You can imagine that those were a terrible 5 years for me. I loved my father, but I sided with my mother. And I learned from her to hate men. You've heard how she hated the whole male sex. And I swore to her that I'd never be a slave to any man.
But you were engaged to that lawyer.
In order to make him my slave.
And he wasn't willing?
He was willing, all right. But I got tired of him. I wouldn't let him.
I saw it, you know, out near the stable.
What did you see?
I saw how he broke off the engagement.
That's a lie! I was the one who broke it off. Has he said that he did? That swine!
Oh, he was no swine, I'm sure. So you hate men, Miss Julie?
Yes! Most of the time. Sometimes, when the weakness comes, when passion rules, oh God, will the fire never die out?
Do you hate me too?
Immeasurably. And then to have you put to death like an animal.
Oh, I see. The penalty for bestiality. The woman gets 2 years at hard labor and the animal is put to death, right?
Exactly.
But there is no prosecutor here and no animal. So what do?
Go away.
To torment each other to death?
No. To be happy for 2 days, a week, as long as we can be happy, and then die.
Die? That's stupid. It's better to open a hotel.
In a short lake home, where the sun always shines, and the laurels are green at Christmas, and the oranges glow.
Lake Como is a rainy hole, and I never saw any oranges outside the stores. But tourists are attracted there, and there are plenty of villas to be rented out to lovers, and that's a profitable business. Do you know why? Because they sign a lease for 6 months and then leave after 3 weeks.
Why after 3 weeks?
They quarrel, of course, but they still have to pay their rent in full, and so you rent out the villas again. And that's the way it goes time after time. There's never a shortage of love, even if it doesn't last long.
You don't want to die with me.
I don't want to die at all. For one thing, I like living. For another, I think that suicide is a crime against the providence which gave us life.
You believe in God? You?
Of course I do, and I go to church every other Sunday. To be honest, I'm tired of all this. I'm going to bed.
Are you? And you think I can let it go at that? A man owes something to the woman he's shamed.
Here. I don't like owing anything to anybody.
Do you know what the law states?
Unfortunately, the law doesn't state any punishment for the woman who seduces a man.
Do you see any way out of this but to leave, get married, and then separate?
Suppose I refuse such a mésalliance.
Mésalliance?
Yes, for me. You see, I come from better stock than you do. There's no arsonist in my family.
How do you know?
You can't prove otherwise. We don't keep charts on our ancestors. There's just the police records. But I've read about your family. Do you know who the founder was? He was a miller who let his wife sleep with the king during the Danish War. I don't have any noble ancestors like that. I don't have any noble ancestors at all. But I could become one myself.
This is what I get for opening my heart to someone unworthy, for giving my family's honor.
Oh, dishonor! Well, I told you so. When people drink, they talk, and talk is dangerous.
How I regret it. How I regret it. If you at least loved me.
Oh, for the last time, what do you want? Shall I cry? Shall I jump over your riding crop? Shall I kiss you and lure you off to Lake Como for 3 weeks and then God knows what? What do you want? What shall I do? This is getting painfully embarrassing. But that's what happens when you stick your nose in women's business. Miss Julie, I see that you're unhappy. I know you're suffering. But I can't understand you. We don't have such romantic ideas. Love is a game we play when we get time off from work. We don't have all day and night like you. I think you're sick. Really sick. Your mother was crazy and her ideas have poisoned your life.
Oh, be kind to me. At least now you're talking like a human being.
Be human then yourself. You spit on me and won't let me wipe it off.
Help me! Help me! Just tell me what to do, where to go!
God's name, if I only knew myself!
I'm crazy, out of my mind. Is there anywhere out?
Stay here and stay calm. No one knows anything.
Impossible! The others know and Christine knows.
No, they don't, and they would never figure out something like this.
But it could happen again.
That's true.
And then?
Then, why didn't I think of that? Yes, there is only one thing to do. Get away from here right away. I can't come with you, then we'd be finished. So you'll have to go alone. Away, anywhere.
Alone? Where? I can't do that.
You must, and before the Count gets back. If you stay, we both know what'll happen. Once you make a mistake like this, you want to continue because the damage has already been done. And then you get bolder and bolder until finally you're caught. So leave. Later you can write to the Count and confess everything. Except that it was me. He'll never guess who it was, and he won't be eager to find out anyway.
I'll go. If you come with me.
Are you out of your head? Miss Julie runs away with her servant. In 2 days it would be in the newspapers, and that's something your father would never live through.
I can't go, and I can't stay. Help me. I'm so tired. So terribly tired. Order me. Set me in motion. I can't think or act on my own.
What miserable creatures you people are. You strut around with your noses in the air as if you were the lords of creation. All right, I'll order you. Go upstairs and get dressed. Get some money for the trip, then come back down.
Come up with me.
To your room? Now you're crazy again. No, go at once.
Speak kindly to me, Sean.
An order always sounds unkind. Now you know how it feels.
Lord Jesus, what a mess. What have you been up to?
Miss Julie dragged everybody in here. You mean you didn't hear anything? You must have been sleeping soundly.
Like a log.
And dressed for church already.
You remember you promised to come with me to communion today.
Oh, yes, that's right. And you've brought my things. Well, come on then. So, what's the gospel text for today?
On St. John's Day, the beheading of John the Baptist, I should think.
Oh, that'll be a long one then, for sure. Ah, you're choking me. Oh, sleepy, so sleepy.
Well, what have you been doing up all night? Your face is absolutely green.
I've been sitting here gabbing with Miss Julie.
She has no idea what is proper, that one.
You know, Christine,
What?
it's really strange when you think about it. Her.
What's so strange?
Everything.
Have you been drinking too together too?
Yes.
Shame on you. Look me in the eye.
Well,
Is it possible?
yes it is.
Huh? I never would have believed it! Oh, no. Shame on you. Shame on you.
You're not jealous of her, are you?
Oh, not of her. If it had been Clara or Sophie, I would have scratched your eyes out. I don't know why, but that's how I feel. It's disgusting.
Are you angry at her then?
No, at you. That was an awful thing to do. Awful. Poor girl. I don't care who knows it. I won't say in a house where I can't respect the people I work for.
Why should we respect them?
You're so clever. You tell me. Do you want to wait on people who cannot behave decently? Do you? You disgrace yourself that way, if you ask me.
But it's a comfort to know they aren't any better than us.
Not for me. They are no better than what we have to strive for to better ourselves.
Oh, but Christine.
And think of the Count. Think of him. As if that poor man has not had enough misery in his life already. Lord Jesus. I won't stay here any longer. And it had to have been with someone like you. If it had been that lawyer or a real gentleman.
What do you mean?
Oh, you're all right for what you are. But they're all men and gentlemen after all. Now, this business with Miss Julie, I could never forget. She was so proud, so arrogant with men, you never would have believed she could have just given herself. And to someone like you, she was going to have poor Diana shot for running after the gamekeeper's mutt. I'm giving my notice. I mean it. On the 24th of October, I leave.
And then?
Well, since the subject has come up, it is about time you started looking around for something, because we are going to get married in any case.
And where am I going to begin to look? I could never find a job like this if I was married.
No, that's true, but you could get a job as a porter or a caretaker in a government office. The state doesn't pay much, I know, but it's secure. And there's a pension for wife and children.
Oh, that's all very well. But it's a bit too early for me to think about dying for my wife and children. My ambitions are a bit higher than that.
Your ambitions. Yes, well, you have obligations too. Think about them.
Don't start nagging me about my obligations. I know what I have to do. Besides, this is something we have plenty of time to think over. We're going to get ready for church.
Who is that walking around up there?
I don't know, unless it's Clara.
You don't suppose it's the Count come home without us hearing it?
No, I don't think so. He would have rung.
Well, God help us. I've never seen anything like this before.
I'm ready now.
Shh, Christine is awake.
Does she suspect something?
No, she doesn't know anything. But my God, you look awful.
Why? How do I look?
Well, you're pale as a ghost, and excuse me, your face is dirty.
Let me wash up then. Give me a towel. Oh, the sun's come up.
Then the goblins will disappear.
Yes, there must have been goblins out last night. Listen, Sean, come with me. I have some money now.
Enough!
Enough to start with. I just can't travel alone on a day like this. In summer day on a stuffy train, jammed in among crowds of people staring at me. Eternal delays at every station, while I wish I had wings. No, I can't. I can't! And then there'll be memories. Memories of midsummer days when I was little. church, decorated with birch leaves and lilacs. Dinner at the big table with relatives and friends. Afternoons in the park. Music, dancing, flowers and games. Oh, no matter how far we travel, the memories will follow us in the baggage car. With remorse and guilt.
All right, I'll go with you then, but right away, right this minute before it's too late.
Get dressed then!
And no baggage, that would surely give us away. What have you got there? What is that?
It's only my green finch. I couldn't leave her behind.
Bring a bird cage with us? Are you out of your head? Put that down!
It's the only thing I'm taking from my home. The only living being that loves me since Diana was unfaithful. Don't be cruel. Let me take her.
Put it down. And don't speak so loudly. Christine will hear us.
No, I won't leave in the hands of strangers. I'd rather you killed her.
Well, bring it here then. I'll chop its head off.
But don't hurt her, don't! No, I can't.
But I can. Bring it here.
Oh, my little Sabina. Must you die and leave your mistress?
Don't make a scene. Your whole life is at stake. You should have learned how to slaughter chickens instead of firing pistols. Then you wouldn't feel faint at the sight of blood.
Kill me! Kill me, too! You who can slaughter an innocent animal without even blinking an eye! Oh, I hate! Oh, I detest you! There's blood between us now! I curse the moment I set eyes on you! I curse the moment I conceive of my mother's womb!
What good does cursing do? Let's go!
No, I don't want to go yet. I can't. Until I see.
Oh, come on.
I hear a carriage coming. You think I can't stand the sight of blood? You think I'm so weak? Oh, how I'd like to see your blood and your brains in a chopping block. Oh, I'd like to see your whole sex swimming in a sea of blood like my little bird. I think I could drink from your skull. I'd like to bathe my feet in your open chest and eat your heart roasted whole. You think I'm weak? You think I love you because my womb craved your seed. You think I want to carry your spawn under my heart and nourish it with my blood, bear your child and take your name. By the way, what is your family name? I've never heard it. Do you have one? I was to be Mrs. Boot Black or Madam Pigsty.
Now.
You dog. Where's my collar? You lackey who bears my coat of arms and your buttons. Do I have to share you with my cook? Compete with my own servant? You think I'm a coward who wants to run away? No. Now I'm staying. And let the storm break! My father will come home to find his desk broken open and his money gone. And then he'll ring that bell twice for the valet And then he'll send for the police. And then I'll tell everything. Everything. Oh, what a relief it will be to have it all end. If only it will end. And then he'll have a stroke and die. And that'll be the end of all of us. And there'll be peace, quiet, eternal rest. And our coat of arms will be broken against his coffin. The family title extinct. But the ballet's line will go on in an orphanage, win laurels in the gutter, and end in jail.
There's the blue blood talking. Very good, Miss Julie. Just don't let that Miller out of the closet.
Help me, Christine! Help me against this man!
A fine way to act on a Sunday morning. Look at that mess. What does it mean? What is all this screaming and carrying on?
Christine, you're a woman and my friend. Beware of the swine.
While you ladies discuss this, I'll go in and shave.
Christine, you must listen to me so you'll understand.
No! I could never understand such disgusting behavior. Where are you off to in your traveling clothes? And he had his hat on. Well? Well?
Christine, listen to me and I'll explain everything.
I don't want to hear it.
But you must listen to me.
What about? If it's about this silliness with Jean, I'm not interested. Because it's none of my business. But if you're thinking of tricking him into running out, we'll soon put a stop to that.
Try to be calm now, Christine, and listen to me. I can't stay here, and neither can Jean, so we must go away. You see, I just had an idea. What if all three of us go abroad to Switzerland and start a hotel together? I have the money, you see, and I thought Jean and I could run it, and I thought you could take care of the kitchen. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Say yes and come with us, and then everything will be settled. Oh, do say yes. You've never traveled, Christine. You must go out and see the world. You can't imagine how much fun it is to travel by train. Always new countries, new faces. And when we get to Hamburg, we'll stop off at the zoo. You'll like that. And then we'll go to the theater and the opera. And when we get to Munich, dear, there we have museums with Rubens and Raphael, the great painters, as you know. You've heard of Munich, where King Ludwig lived, the king who went mad. And then we'll see his castles, and they're like castles in fairy tales. And from there it isn't far to Switzerland and the Alps. Imagine, the Alps have snow on them even in the middle of the summer. And oranges grow there, and laurel trees lit up green all year round. And then we'll start a hotel. And I'll be at the desk where Jean greets the guests, does the shopping, writes the letters. You have no idea what it'll be like. The train whistles blowing, the carriages arriving, and the bells ringing up in the rooms and down in the restaurants. And I'll make out the bills, and I know how to solve them. You have no idea how timid travelers are when they have to pay their bills. And you'll be in charge of the kitchen. Naturally, you won't have to stand over the stove yourself. And since you'll be seen by people, you'll have to wear beautiful clothes. And you with your looks, no, I'm not flattering you. One fine day, you'll find yourself a husband. You'll see! A rich Englishman! They're so easy to catch! And then we'll get rich and build ourselves a villa on Lake Como. It's true. It rains there, a little now and then. The sun has to shine sometimes. Although it looks dark. And then, of course, we could always come back home again. Here. Or somewhere else.
Listen, do you really believe all of this, Miss Julie?
Do I believe it?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't believe in anything anymore. Nothing. Nothing at all.
So you thought you'd run out?
Run out? That's no way to put it. Besides, you heard Miss Julie's plan, and even if she is tired after being up all night, it's still a practical plan.
You listen to me. Do you think that I would work as a cook for that?
You watch what you say in front of your mistress, Christine.
Mistress?
Yes.
Listen to him. Listen to him.
Yes, you listen. It'd do you good to listen more and talk less. Miss Julie is your mistress, and if you despise her, you have to despise yourself for the same reason.
I have always had enough self-respect
To be able to despise other people.
to stop me from doing anything that is beneath me. You can't very well say that the cook has been up to something with the groom or the swineherd, can you?
No, you were lucky enough to get hold of a gentleman.
Gentleman who sells the Count's oats from the stable.
You're one to talk, taking commissions from the grocer and bribes from the butcher. And you say you can't respect your employers any longer. You!
Are you coming to church with me now? You could use a good sermon after your fine deed.
No, I am not going to church with you today. You'll have to go alone and confess what you've been up to.
Yes, I will. And I will bring back enough forgiveness for you too. The Savior suffered and died on the cross for our sins. And if we go to him with faith and a penitent heart, he takes all our sins on himself.
Even grocery sins?
And do you believe that, Christine?
It is my living faith as sure as I stand here. It is the faith I learned as a child, Miss Julie, and have kept ever since. Where sin abounded, grace did much more abound.
If only I had your faith. If only.
Well, you see, we can't have that without God's special grace, and that isn't given to everyone.
Oh, is it given to them?
Well, that's the great secret of the workings of grace, Miss Julie. And God is no great respecter of persons, for the last shall be the first.
Then he does respect the last.
And it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. That's how it is, Miss Julie. Anyhow, I'm leaving now, alone. And on the way, I think I'll tell the groom not to let any horses out, in case anyone wanted to leave before the Count gets back. Goodbye!
What a witch! And all this because of a green finch.
Never mind the green finch. Do you see any way out of this? Any end to it?
No.
What would you do in my place?
In your place? Let's see, as a person of position, as a woman who had fallen. I don't know. Wait. Yes. Now I know.
You mean like this?
Yes. But understand, I wouldn't do it. That's the difference between us.
Why? Because you're a man and I'm a woman? What difference does that make?
The usual difference between a man and a woman.
I want to, but I can't. My father couldn't either. The time he should have
No,
done.
he shouldn't have. He had to revenge himself first.
And now my mother is revenged again. Through me.
Didn't you ever love your father, Miss Julie?
Oh, yes. Deeply. But I've hated him too. I must have done so without realizing it. It was he who brought me up to despise my own sex, making me half woman, half man. Whose fault fault is what's happened. My father's, my mother's, my own. My own? I don't have anything that's my own. I don't have a single thought that I didn't get from my father. Not an emotion that I didn't get from my mother. And his last idea, that all people are equal, I got that from my fiancé. That's why I called him a slum. How can it be my fault? Shall I let Jesus take on the blame the way Christine does? No. I'm too proud to do that, and too sensible, thanks to my father's teachings. And as for a rich man not getting to heaven, that's a lie. But Christine won't get in. How will she explain the money she has in the savings bank? Whose fault is it? What does it matter whose fault it is? I'm the one who has to bear the blame, face the consequences.
Yes, but you don't suppose Christine...
He went to his desk!
It's Jean, sir. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Yes, sir, at once. I see, in half an hour.
What did he say? Dear Lord, what did he say?
He wants his boots and coffee in half an hour.
So, in half an hour. I'm so tired. I'm not able to do anything. I can't repent, can't run away, can't stay, can't live, can't die. Help me! Order me and I'll obey like a dog! Do me this last service. Save his honor. Save my name. You know what I should do. I don't have the will to. You will it. You order me to do it.
I can't. I don't understand. It's as if putting on this vest made it impossible for me to order you to do anything. And now that the Count has spoken to me, I can't explain it, but though it's the damn lackey in me. I swear, if the Count came down this minute and ordered me to cut my throat, I'd do it on the spot.
Then pretend you're he and I'm you.
Oh.
You gave such a good performance before when you knelt to my feet. You were a real nobleman. Or have you ever seen a hypnotist in the theater? He says to his subject, take the broom. And he takes it. He says, sweep. And he sweeps.
But the subject has to be asleep.
I'm already asleep. The whole room is like smoke around me. And you look like an iron stove, shaped like a man in black with a tall hat. Your eyes glow like coals when the fire is dying, and your face is a white patch like ashes. It's so warm and good and bright and so peaceful.
Here's the broom. The sun is almost out. Go now out to the barn and
tell me that those who are first can also receive the gift of grace. Say it even if you don't believe it.
The first. No, I can't. I can't. Oh, but wait. Miss Julie. Now I know. You're no longer among the first. Now you're among the last.
That's true. I'm among the very last. I'm the last of all. But now I can't go. Tell me once more to go.
I can't now either.
And the first shall be the last.
Don't think. You're taking away all my strength, making me a coward. What was that? I thought the bell moved. No. It shoved me stuffed paper in it. Oh, to be so afraid of a bell. But it isn't just a bell. There's someone behind it. A hand sets it in motion, and something else sets the hand in motion. Cover your ears. Oh, maybe if you cover your ears. But then it rings louder. Until somebody answers it. And then it's too late. And then the police come and... It's horrible. But there's no other way. Go.